I'm giving up.
Are you?
Yep.
What, everything?
The World Health Organization, so say, I haven't seen this officially, but I've seen it from a very good source, have said that if you can't have find a sexual partner, or you have a partner and you can't make them pregnant, you will now be registered disabled.
Right.
Is this recording?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course it is.
I won't do my next.
It's gold. You come in, you haven't shut up. See, you just sat down.
Oh, no. I
can't waste this. Got to bottle it.
No. I think this is why our numbers have gone down.
What, because
I'm a bit too...
Because you tell everyone what you really think. It's okay.
I think I've got to save the world.
Okay.
From itself. Because I haven't got anything else to do, have I?
No.
I'm not going anywhere.
No.
Not even church.
Can you not go to church? Oh, you can't go to church?
No.
What, because you're not... Oh, God. Oh, God. What would he say about it all, hey? The little baby Jesus. What would he say? I don't got quiet on me now. Right, should we get into it?
Yeah, shall I put my thingies in?
Why not?
Oh, here's another thing as well. The marketing people, this is prediction, are going to be calling it doses, not jabs.
Okay.
To make it sound different.
Okay.
You heard it here first.
Right. Have you finished? Can we start this pod? Hello and welcome to episode 82 of I'm Fine, a chat between myself, Damo, and Mr. Ridiculous himself, Mark.
Yeah, if the cap fits.
I wrote that. I thought, should I get away with that? And you called yourself ridiculous this morning, so I thought, right.
I am.
Well, I mean, you don't believe in sun cream, do you?
Okay.
You don't believe in the moon, landing on the moon, and you believe that we're all holograms. I mean, that is ridiculous, isn't it? And we established last week that your obituary is... Mark, it was a bit ridiculous.
My what, sorry?
Your obituary that we worked out last week.
Yeah, I had therapy today. That's the only thing of doing the pod on the Thursday. I think
was it your last one with your therapist?
Oh, well.
Oh, she doesn't listen, does she? You've been slagging her off last week.
No, she doesn't listen. I just think she thinks I might need a bit more rescuing.
That's what they do, though, isn't it? Oh, well, you're not quite. You need another few
Pfizer
weeks.
with the booster.
Yeah, you're never cured.
No, she was very clear that if we do have any extension, it's very time limited.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they all are. Every session's time limited.
No. The therapeutic interventions can be endless, can't they?
She hasn't got enough life left. Is that what you're saying?
Hasn't got enough will.
She's young as well.
I said to her, we've probably only got 4 weeks left, and she said, "You want therapy before the end of."
Oh, the end of the universe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that another one of your predictions? That we're all going to... You came in here. I don't know whether I recorded it or put it on the beginning, but you just said it's all going to be over in a few weeks.
Yeah.
What?
The lot, everything.
Okay.
We had a discussion, when I said about people taking their shoes off, going on planes.
Yeah.
Nothing gets reversed.
Yeah.
So once we've brought in, you have...
I mean, I don't know whether they're still taking the shoes off at the airports now, whether they've got better things to do.
Last time I flew, I've taken... This isn't everyone.
When was the last time you flew in an aeroplane?
Well, it will be the last time I flew.
The props, the last time you... When was it?
There ain't going to be another one, is there?
No, I don't know. Well, no, you know.
No.
You're basically stuck
grounded.
Here.
It's like, I'm a teenager. I've got some bad news. You're grounded. For how long?
Yeah.
Or how long have you got to live?
You never thought in all your days, did you, that you get to the
ripe old
age of 60 and go, I'm not allowed to go anywhere or do anything.
Oh, well, there is one thing I thought.
What?
I can go and watch Rovers. My little football team.
Well, yeah.
Ragbag Rovers, they'll have me.
They will.
Nope.
Oh, are they not?
Nope.
Oh, you're kidding. They're not double bubble as well, are they?
Oh, I should have got some of the quotes, but this is some of the things that came. I wrote to them today.
All right.
To point out that there was some
anomalies. Back already?
No. Oh, I'll check actually. No, I don't think I have. There were some anomalies in some of the things they wrote, so I pointed it out to them.
Okay.
That it might be best to be clear before the first match on Saturday.
Okay.
Little things like the wearing of face coverings is completely down to personal preference.
Right.
Masks must be worn for any movement around the stadium.
Yeah.
I thought, that's confused me.
Yeah,
already. The personal preference is I don't want to wear them, well, you have to.
Yeah.
So maybe what you do is you fill in a form to say I'm doing this begrudgingly.
Yeah.
I'm not happy about this, but you can't see my face. Underneath here, I'm seething. The end I go, like the noisy jump up and down.
Yeah. The ultras.
Yeah. Did Wolverhampton have one?
What?
Everybody Disco. I'm trying to think of the tune. DISCO. No. Anyway,
we can't spell.
So we have still standing terraces, and obviously the hardest score is behind the goal, and then it peters out. And at the end of the terrace, you've got the people that used to be hardcore, but
or the beginners,
yeah,
yeah,
or now need a Zimmer frame.
So where are you in there? Are you kind of? Right
I just go with the teenagers.
What, the front?
No,
the
middle behind the goal.
Okay, you're still in amongst it.
Still in it amongst it, mingling. However, shouting, singing, and congregating.
Yeah.
People in that end have been told they must listen to guidelines that will be issued by the authorities during the match.
What, over the tannoy?
So things like shh, 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 shh. Like
what? Well, is that what they do? Excuse the seagulls.
Yeah, I was just going to pretend I'd done that impersonation. No. But it's going to be things like you can't sing.
Oh, what? Can everyone just please shut up?
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Can't have any celebrations. No high fives with anyone outside your social bubble.
Hold on, is this on the? Is this in the pamphlet?
Yeah, it's the code of conduct. So one of the things I'd like to do is look at other things to see.
What's the point in going? You're allowed to watch the game. You have to stand there with your eyes shut.
If you go to the seated section, and you need to leave your seat, please leave your seat with your back to other people. Now that's how you leave your seat.
That's normally how you get up out of the seat.
Yeah, you wouldn't sort of shove your dick in their face, would you, and walk out. So,
or spin round in your chair first and then get up facing the person behind you. Yeah, you tend not to do it.
And it said, please check the gangways are empty before you leave it. So you're dying for a piss or a pie, and it's like...
Well, there's emergency.
And there's people in the gangway.
Yeah.
In the open air. The code of conduct also said, and this was another thing where I said to Rovers, I didn't feel this was a major thing, but it is the sort of thing that I think is important. They said the area behind the goal with the ultras will be divided into 3 sections for safety. And so they're obviously going to measure how many people are in each section.
Right.
And they said, please look out that these sections will be numbered 1, 2, 3 and 4.
Hold on, there's 3 sections.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
I'm lost already. So you're going to talk to a pissed up cider head. I go, can you move to section, please?
Well,
section 3,
I suppose
please.
you
No
need
high
a 4,
fiving.
because 4 defines the end of 3, doesn't it? Technically. Otherwise, 3 is never ending. You see what I mean? So 4 is everything else. You with me?
It's not that big a terrace.
Okay.
So yeah, there's a code of conduct. So those are just the highlights. So
that's amazing. So you're not going to bother going then?
Well, I won't be able to go.
No.
Because I'm not double jabbed. Or double dosed.
Double dosed. As I said, ridiculous. Not you, that. This is a chat around the subjects of health, wealth, well-being, fitness, sport, and what the actual fudge is going on with this world. We're all work in progress, and this podcast is no exception. In short, it's spoken our perfectly imperfect lives, and if we can make just one person feel like they're not alone in all this madness. It's just madness, Mark.
I can't even join you in the madness.
No.
Oh, well.
What? You just can't join it. You're just between worlds. Then our work here is done.
Sorry, I was just going to say...
Do you mind if I...
No, okay.
No, go on. No. You're on a flow. Go on.
I was just going to say, every introvert in the world's going to go, no, I haven't been jabbed.
Yeah. You'll have to stay in.
Do you want to come to the pub? No, I'd love to. I can't.
Not allowed.
But you showed your the certificate on Facebook. Nah.
Please subscribe to us in your podcast app of choice and join us on Instagram at I'm Finecast. Coming up, got some catch-ups and bookmarks, Mark. Bookmarks, Mark. In Work Life Ballet, what the actual fuck is going on. Because Deb, we might have a little bit of a rant.
I've got a scoop.
Yes, I'm coming to that.
Okay. Okay.
Steady yourself. We look at the nonsense and madness that is society these days, and we also have an exclusive expose from our resident investigative hack, Mark. In Brain Food, we're going to look at something we didn't have time to do last week, which was Rory Sutherland's 10 Rules of Alchemy from his book. And not to disappoint, we have some life hacks for you, including one absolute belter on how to stay cool at night.
Okay.
All the things we want to hear right now.
I know what it'll be already.
What's that?
Your hack. I'm not going to spoil it.
You don't know. You always do this and you get it wrong.
Water in a hot water bottle, freeze and then put it on your ankles.
No, it's not. I haven't.
I did have someone...
clogs. Is that what you do?
No, I wouldn't do that because I don't bloody moan about stuff. I just go to bed and sleep. It isn't too hot.
It is.
No.
It is. It's ridiculous.
Someone said to me today, we're going to continue with those life hacks because they're a bit shit.
Who the fuck said that?
I'm not going to tell you her name.
It's one of one person.
Yeah. Dissident.
I better not annoy her because she's doing some stuff for me, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're so easy to... You'd be shit in interrogation, wouldn't you? You'd crack within a second.
I was interrogated once at Bristol Airport.
Yeah, you just told him everything.
No.
Start crying.
They thought we were drug smuggling. Me and my friend, we were like searched.
They're up my bum. And then you just start crying. Intense, like, where the drugs are up my butter. No?
No.
Okay, go on.
No, we'd come from a drugs conference, but we were...
He's telling me that. The irony. When you just high as a kite all through this drug conference.
PowerPoint
I've never
broke.
seen you literally squirm.
No, I was just thinking of some of the incidents.
Yeah, okay. So you were sober through the whole thing?
Well, why I was laughing, why I didn't speak, is that my friend who I was with was so drunk, the following morning we couldn't go to an alcohol rehab centre. And it was like the whole thing was ironic. So,
dear.
Anyways.
Mark, you're looking well. You have a sparkle about you. Is that your new glitter body butter? Or you're just plain sweaty?
No, I'm just on one.
Yeah, I think no.
I'm an angry young man. This is very...
Yeah.
1978 and that.
So it is too hot. I'm not going to talk about how hot it is.
Yeah.
But it's too hot. It's awful, in fact. Plus, there's a weather warning as well. So I'm frankly surprised. We trained this. We trained this morning.
Yeah.
And I'm frankly surprised that you're running your sessions in such extreme weather. You should be closed down as of immediately because you're putting my health and all your clients' health at risk. Do you realise?
Okay.
What you're doing?
I do, and I knew you'd bloody moan on about this, so I'd just like to... Yeah.
It's too hot, isn't it? Do you want a drink?
Just, while I'm doing this, you have a little Google, and can you let the listener know what... That's not far from the truth. It's either the army captain or the Russian spy. We've got two left.
Ma'am. Yeah.
Can you tell me what the hottest temperature has been in the UK this year, in this extreme, terrible year of locusts and plagues?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Should you have some Google music?
Yeah.
Okay.
Insert.
Found it.
Okay. So we had an extreme weather warning, didn't we? An extreme hotness warning.
Yeah.
That was given out that goes, whoa.
Amber.
It ain't going to be parky anymore.
So amber is it's going to affect vulnerable people, right? And red,
moany ones.
now, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Red is what?
And red is
everyone's going to moan.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah.
Okay, so what's the temperature?
So on Tuesday this week, temperature beat the previous record of 31.6. 88.9 Fahrenheit for those old
don't
money.
do that.
Set on Sunday also at Heathrow. Yeah, so it was 32.2.
So 32.2. So we're now in this situation where we're getting extreme heat warnings for 32.2 because
yes,
people...
it's hotter than hell at the moment.
So I'm just going to read back over some past years because we didn't used to have extreme weather warnings because it was never as hot as it was
It came
now.
out this week. It's fresh and hot, just like the weather.
Yeah. So just going back year by year, 38.7.
What, last year?
2019. I haven't got 2020 for some reason.
I bet I was training in that. I bet you made me train in that.
38.7, 35.6, 34.5, 35.2, 36.7. Have I got down to ours yet? No. 34.1. Oh, 32.4. Chilly. So all those years we didn't have to have an extreme weather warning.
No.
Okay,
but
that's obviously because it's only been climate change in the last few years. That's because it's got out of control. We've never known a year like it, have we? 1990, 37.1. 1989, 34.4. Oh, well, that's in the 90s.
How long are you going back? Do I need to get another coffee?
1976, that lovely hot summer when we had 60 days.
Oh, everyone talks about that, don't they? I wasn't there.
The Jubilee, it was fantastic. 35.9.
Is it true, Mark?
My phone's died. That's a fucker.
You need a charger? Isn't your expose on there?
Yeah.
Is it? It is, isn't it? If you have a battery.
Yeah, I didn't even know.
What kind of connector is it?
Apple.
Yeah, but what kind? The new one or the old one?
New one.
Okay, so that's the middle section.
Oh, here's a question. Here's a question for you. Biggest producer of mobile phones in the world?
China.
By company.
Then be more specific.
I did. I was just taking a breath.
The company who makes the most mobile phones. Would it be a phone brand we've heard of? Otherwise,
no, it won't be, will it?
Isn't it those Fat Fox lot in China who make all the Apple phones? No.
What brand is the most popular brand? Not the name
Samsung.
of the factory. Yes, correct.
Right.
5 points.
Thank you.
Who's second?
That's a good one. It's not Apple.
It was Apple.
Right.
It's not.
I just said it's not Apple.
Yeah. So you're correct.
So
5 points.
Okay. So who is it? Who is
I
second?
think, now my phone's dead, I won't be able to tell you. I think it's a company called Xiaomi.
Right.
Ever heard of them?
No.
No. They're the second biggest producer of mobile phones in the world. This company also aren't selling in America or Canada, and they're the second biggest.
Yeah. They're not the only people on the planet, are they? Westerners.
No, but I would have thought Apple was almost in that sort of invincible position. Them and Samsung are the sort of Pepsi and Coke of... Or Pepsi and Shirley, if you like.
I don't think they've sold as many, but they're just more expensive, so they just made a shit ton more money, haven't they?
But I never heard of that brand.
Okay. Do we need to charge your phone up before we go any further?
I can remember most of the expose, but there is a clip that I was going to play and a photo I was going to show you.
You've got a charger in the car?
Yeah.
Do you want to go and get it? Do you want to check?
Have you got a plug?
I'm not sure I have.
I'm not plugging it to your computer.
Tell me no, I don't want your phone anywhere near my computer. Do you have to pause the podcast?
I'll go and plug it in my car.
Well, you need it. Why don't you bring the charger in here?
Or bring the car into the garden.
Hold on. Oh God, you're so difficult. So is the charger only one for a car charger?
No.
Is it one you can stick in a USB?
Yeah.
I have USB devices I can charge. It's not just my laptops.
That's fine then. I'll go and I'm sure I've got
your data's safe, all right? I don't want to...
Your money's safe.
Yeah.
You're going to put some mood music on?
Yeah, I'll do that.
I'll run like a whippet.
Go on. Plug. There's one down. It's nearby. Also, talking about the heat. Not that I mention it. You asked me this morning whether my loathing of the heat was nature or nurture, which I thought was quite an interesting one.
Okay.
We had a little chat, didn't we, about that?
Yeah.
I've been thinking about it all day.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is a bit of both. I think it's my physicalities.
Yes.
And, well, probably that my good old parents, they didn't kind of go around, smothering me with kind of factor 100, and keeping me out of the sun. But there's definitely when you burn so easily, there's generally a fuss around going out in the heat.
Yeah.
But also, there's some science to why I'm sensitive to the sun, Mark. So you can be more sympathetic. So I went to type into Google, why are gingers so susceptible to the sun? And I wrote why are gingers, and when you get the list of stuff that comes up on Google, the list was why are gingers bullied? Why are gingers so pale? Why are gingers so angry? Why are gingers called gingers? Why are gingers so mean? Why are gingers rare? Why are gingers going extinct? And why are gingers mocked? I want to look at all of those things and see what the Google's got. What?
Not valid as in good, but they will happen.
Yeah. Some people with fair skin, for example those with red or blonde hair, will get sunburn after being outside for only a few minutes, while other people with darker skin and hair don't seem to burn so easily. The main reason for this difference is because fair-skinned and dark-skinned people have different types and amounts of pigments, substances with colourful properties in their skin cells. Melanin is a kind of pigment that gives skin, hair and eyes their colour, and it comes in two main types, one that is good at blocking sunlight and one that is bad at blocking sunlight. So I think you must be full of the stuff that blocks it, because you don't use sun cream.
No.
For your own reason. You don't. Your words were, "I don't believe in it." It's like it's not Father Christmas or Jesus. So, is it?
No. Do you think sometimes I'm controversial for the sake of it?
I don't know what you are.
Ridiculous. Let's just stick it at that.
Yeah. But I helped move some of the weights today, didn't I? Helped you?
Yeah.
Because it's only because you said the other day it's only my time that I'm wasting.
Yeah.
And I thought, when people make weights, like the manufacturers, you think how many weights they've made over the years. That's really heavy. And you think, why isn't the Earth kind of falling off its axis because of all that extra weight? Then I thought, well, there's more people. They all weigh something, don't they? All people. And you've got people, houses, bricks, weights, and things like that. We make heavy stuff, don't we?
Yeah.
One day the world's just going to fall. Or is that what you meant by the world's going to end in 4 weeks because it's too heavy?
Somehow it keeps on turning despite all those extra things.
Yeah. So is it any heavier, do you think, because of all the
people
and the weights that they're making?
I think the weights are created out of something that already exists.
Yeah, but doesn't it get heavier though when you make something?
What if you turn 20 kilos of iron into a weight? Yeah. It gains.
Or is this like, what's heavier, 20 tons of feathers or 20 tons of bowling balls?
The people one's a good one, though. Didn't they do that experiment if everybody in China jumped up and down at the same time?
Knock the world off its axis. And you believe that, do you?
I just think the people that were right on the edge of the world might fall off, though.
Oh, right, yeah. At the wall of ice.
Yeah, or wherever the world, the flat.
That's where it ends. Yeah, the wall of ice. Yeah. Okay.
Bezos would have seen that, wouldn't he, in his penis?
Yeah,
that is ridiculous.
I'm trying to steer your rants into the ranty bit. Okay. It's getting really difficult. That's one of them. So, how was your? What's new with you, Mark? Anything? You went camping in the wilds, didn't you? Like Bear Grylls.
I got told off about that today.
Why? Who? The authorities?
My therapist.
Who is this woman?
She's controlling, isn't she? She give me a bit more slack.
You pay her a decent chunk of change as well.
Yeah.
Don't you?
Yeah.
And she just makes you feel rubbish about yourself.
I said to her today, towards the end, I said, this is normally 50-50. I said, you're winning today. And she went, therapy is not competitive. And I went, but you are winning, aren't you? And she sort of smiled. She was. She was. She's there like clenched fist.
Yeah. I'm not. Yes. I'm not.
Get in. Got you. Ridiculous boy.
I'm not going to fall to his ways. Oh, I've done it again. Same time next week. Damn you.
I wrote to her last week and said thank you for being half decent.
Right. She's quite. Those your words.
They weren't far away.
Was she a bit spiky this morning, was she?
I think she was chuffed. But she wrote back and said, are you taking the piss? It's the only time I've written to her in 32 weeks. When my phone's charged, I'll read out the diatribe.
You don't write to your therapist, do you? You basically just kind of say, the only time you write is when you can't make a session.
No, I wrote to her.
Or you need to rearrange one. You don't give her feedback.
Yeah, I gave her feedback on her performance. I said, I think...
Do you give her a Trustpilot review?
I said, I think I'd like to thank you for being consistent, and I didn't say not shit, but something like that. And she came back and said something along the lines of, you're taking the piss.
What are you trying to achieve with that letter, Mark? You're trying to encourage her to keep you on? No, because there is a thing, isn't it? It doesn't matter, even if it's a tough thing to go through. There's something comforting and...
Oh, yeah.
Isn't there about it? You know... You kind of know where you are, and it kind of defines your week, doesn't it? And you can hang stuff off that. So yes. I appreciate how kind of important that is.
No, I did it because of almost like the sort of random acts of kindness. Why should certain professions, I think, almost recognise that they're helping people? But I think some people forget. There was something on social media today about a certain group of people saying, but they are just people at the end of the day. They do have the same emotions and the same desires. And I think she did say something around... Something like that was really nice of you. Even therapists appreciate validation. And it's like to think, it's the same way when I'm training people to think that I don't really care whether they've lost weight or whether they get stronger. And it has to matter or else you wouldn't do the job.
Yeah.
So it wasn't being manipulative or anything. It was just like, I just thought she's done a good job.
Okay, fair dues. So she told you off about your night away. So you went out, because
Yeah.
I was talking about sleeping outside, and you went, oh, I did, and you put a picture on your little Instagram, didn't you, of a little sleeping bag in a little nook next to a little river. If that was me, if I was with you, right, I'd have kept the midges away from you, I'll tell you that. They'd have been all over me. Do you not get bitten?
I put a bag on my head. The bag that the
Is this the
sleeping
bit
bag
she was
came
upset
in.
with?
Yeah.
The self-harm bit. I mean, what was going on there?
I just rested her. I didn't like...
What, to protect you from the midges?
Mm.
Oh, there were some of there.
Yeah, because I went by a river.
Yeah,
That was
I
the
know,
point.
yeah.
But it was out of view of the ram that attacked me.
Oh, here we go.
I told you about the ram.
No, you haven't told me about the ram.
I got attacked by a ram. I'm sure I told you that.
No, I made some comments of, did you get attacked by
Yeah, I
angry
did.
cows? And you went,
No, I avoided the angry cows.
Right. Why'd you upset animals too? Did you just go...
It was one ram. It was just like, he had so much attitude. There was nothing else around. There was no reason for it.
Right.
And he just had a look in his eye.
Right.
And I thought, he's going to be trouble. So he charged me, literally charged me.
Were you in his field?
I don't know if it was his, but I was in a field. Yeah.
Right.
So he
It's
charged
his
me,
field.
and I literally waved my arms and like
Encouraged
sort of
him.
hissed, and yeah, offered him some grass, and he like stopped,
Yeah.
and then thought. Then his look was like, "Good try,
Yeah.
but I'm coming back for you." And he had those really curly
Oh, yeah, I got horns.
horns, and I
Yeah.
thought they're going to go straight into my quad, and because I had no signal
Right.
and no one knew where
It's
I
very
was.
specific muscle to think he's going to...
Well, he was that sort of height.
Well, okay. Right, okay.
It's quad height ram.
Right.
So he charged again.
Right.
And I thought, I'm in trouble here because I can only be... I think my fierceness was going to be like I was saying earlier, the law of diminishing returns. Second time he's going to go, well, he did that just now.
Yeah.
So I took I took my sleeping bag out of its bag.
Yeah.
And
What colour was it? Red?
well, it had a sort of purple inside. So I did go a little bit Matador-esque
Yeah.
and sort of threw it over him a bit, but then realised I needed it.
You threw a sleeping bag at a ram. This
Yeah.
gets better. It's
And it
brilliant.
stopped him. Obviously, it stopped him because it was like big, wasn't it? It was like this. What's the name?
He's probably just completely bamboozled by it.
Yeah. And then the third time, I gathered it up because I thought I'm in trouble now, and also he could rip it or eat it. So I just leapt over a fence, like a barbed wire fence, and he came again. But in the nick of time, I escaped.
Right.
But it was frightening, seriously frightening.
Was it?
Yeah, because
Suppose
I
you
thought,
didn't do an Instagram story about it
yeah,
because it was so frightening.
I wish I'd videoed it because it would have been good content.
Yeah.
But I think this is what the therapist was saying. If
Why didn't you video it? Because I don't believe
could do
you.
with a
You
laugh.
and your stories.
Yeah, typical BPD. None of that. You didn't even fucking go to Wales.
Yeah.
Yeah, but other than that, it was pretty uneventful.
Okay, so the very end of the last podcast, you brought something up, which was the GTA walk.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't know what you meant, but
Yes.
when I looked at it, I knew exactly what you meant.
Good.
And you said, I might be being ridiculous. But I'm into it. Are you still into this? You're going to have to explain what it is.
Okay. Well, no, you explain, and then I've been watching this obsessively.
Well, I've seen a few examples of it, but this particular young lady who's doing it seems to be
Is she
crushing
Russian?
it, right? I mean, she was in a hurry, but she was, but she seems to be like the biggest one of them
Yeah.
all. So, imagine a video game. I guess is it kind of first person? So you got your avatar in a game,
Okay.
and if you're kind of running or walking, they kind of run funny, don't they, on the
Yeah.
spot? Or if a character in a game runs into a wall, they kind of run
Yeah.
on the spot, don't they?
Yeah.
And then
I
when
don't ever game, but
you don't know any.
No.
Okay, you've never seen
Space
any of this.
Invaders.
Which is even weirder why you like it, but
Yeah.
and then just that so that they kind of mimic the movement. So the camera shot is behind these real people doing this in real life,
Yes.
going up to walls or people in
Yes.
cars or just doing everyday actions,
Yes.
but looking like they're in a video game. So this GTA walk, I guess, is specifically Grand Theft Auto, right?
Yeah.
So this Russian one,
With very big blonde hair, like in ringlets, sort of thing.
yeah, you don't often really see her face, do you?
No.
And she's one of those. She's so famous now that she almost goes up to anyone. Everyone knows
Mm.
what she's up for
Mm.
and goes along with it.
Mm.
Why are you into it? What is it about it? Because I could literally, it's literally seconds of fun. I go, oh yeah, yeah. That's it. Why would you want to? Are you still looking at it? Are you still watching it?
I'm weaning myself off it because I was watching it a lot.
Are you? Well,
Yeah.
What is it about it? What's about? You don't. I mean, you're not even gonna get it if you were kind of a mad gamer. But
There's just something that
what's kind of
hypnotized me. It was just
okay?
it was just an obsessive fascination with it,
Okay.
and it's waning now, and I'll move on to something else. But yeah, for 3 or 4 days, I would watch it constantly.
Okay.
I just found it very I don't know, because I've never seen
No,
what
that's
it's
what I mean.
based
That's
on.
what I mean. That's what I can't quite, because I watch it and you kind of, that would be the link for me, someone who's familiar with
Yeah.
that kind of action. But
So when you watched it, you just thought, oh,
I go, it's quite
that's
clever.
okay.
It's funny.
I'll watch it 3 or 4 times more.
Tops. Yeah, and go, next.
Okay, now I
Yeah.
get on with my life.
Yeah.
Hashtag ridiculous.
Yeah. We have to get on because we've been gas bagging.
Mm.
What is going on? You're concerned, Mark, about the state of the world, state of our country, state of our governance. And it is important. It is that thing where you don't need to be engaged with politics to be touched by all this, because it's, we are talking about pandemic, aren't we? Let's get to the nub. So I guess the questions I've got here, like what the actual is going on, and then. And is anyone accountable? Because we were talking about that this morning. And are we to blame for letting them get away with it? Do you know when you kind of see people like being, politicians being ridiculous, world leaders being ridiculous, heads of global corporations, and you kind of, and there's this kind of whole thing about perspective or lack of perspective on kind of real problematic things that need to be solved. Huge lack of common sense, just on an epic scale.
Yeah.
You start to kind of go, well, who are we? Because we're just mere mortals here. We're not kind of MPs. We're not, head of global corporations and those kind of thing, but we are all just people, aren't we? No one's got an advantage over anybody else as such. We kind of detach ourselves from it, but we're all part of it, aren't we? Do you know what I mean? We're all kind of,
but we're
it's
helpless.
easy to sit here and kind of look and observe it. Yeah, we've kind of talked about that before, haven't we? What can we do about it?
Well, there's about 20 pods ago we were going, let's get away from all the doom and gloom.
Yeah, some of these things have always been ridiculous and just not been outed, right?
Yeah.
Is it people just trying to get eyeballs? Is it the clickbait thing? Is it trying to find the salacious story? One
of the things I'm going to come on to in a minute with my scoop is, and we've used this constantly, is in plain sight, or how I read it, is that if the story somehow becomes the story of the day, then you ain't going to fight your way out of it.
Yeah.
Cummins goes to Barnard Castle and everyone makes funny memes about it. Another MP went on a train and got sacked from the party because it was appalling. And it's like, where's the difference?
Yeah, and Gove gets the special treatment going to the football with his boy. Yeah. Because he was on a trial. Yeah. Which is meant to be random. Yeah. Then obviously Boris got tripped over this week, didn't he? Yeah. Trying to go with the same line. Everyone went, no, we're not having that this time. Yeah. Oh, no, we're not going to. I think this is the kind of the flip-flopping of everything, isn't it? And I think I don't think it's even about, confusing us or, dividing, conquering to control us in any kind of way to get there. It's gone beyond that. Some of this is just ridiculous. I'd argue we're not even falling for it.
Well, you
talking about playing sight.
It used to be clever, didn't it?
Yeah,
I was thinking the other day of Jimmy Savile.
Propaganda, which is quite smart.
Yeah, and propaganda was thought out, and it was, like hidden messages and hidden things. I mean, the young ones did it on their comedy show. They had, if you look through, every episode has
something flashing
a hidden
out.
thing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And that was because there was a big thing that it was illegal and that supermarkets were wafting in bread. There's no bakery in the supermarket. But,
right.
But I think what happens now, how it feels to me, and I don't know whether this is through my different perception of life to maybe neurotypical people, it feels to me we sort of wake up to this torrent of everything. Everybody and everything has to be 100 miles an hour. So the weather has to be extreme, politicians have to be extreme, decisions are made overnight. Yeah. It's
someone getting slapped, or isn't it? Or we're getting warnings, or it's all very kind of what's the word?
Discombobulated. Yeah,
but that kind of
it does feel like a sort of almost like a water torture as well. It's like you wake up and you never get a day and go, well, that was quite nice. Yeah. And I was going to come on to it very quickly. A similar story about sport is Australia and New Zealand pulling out of the Rugby League World Cup. Yeah. And you start, the reason I kind of brought that one up is because we kind of tend to feel quite similar to other countries, especially Australia. But they are so different, so different. 1,500 cases and they shut the country. They had one person dying in their 80s. And Sydney is in a lockdown with 900,000 people.
I thought it was a misprint with the deaths when I read it. No. And the cases. 15 cases and they were crapping themselves.
This one death was someone in their 80s. They've now got a lockdown. All bar a few shops are shut. Yeah. Construction workers stopped. And basically people are on, you can't leave the area for 900.
Of course, they're looking at England, where the World Cup Rugby League World Cup, and going, you've got 60,000 cases every day, no chance. And you're like, we're still existing. We have to live in this country. Yeah. Just when you kind of start to get a grasp as perspective, there's some countries you kind of go, well, yeah, they're fanatical about X, Y, and Z, but the countries that you feel a bit of an assimilation with, you kind of go, hold on.
Well, I keep referring to the Winter Olympics.
Yeah,
it being held in China. This is for me the elephant in the room, sporting wise. Yeah. That's not far away.
Yeah, you almost forget there's any sport going on with the Olympics at the moment. And I've said like 2/3 of Japan apparently in a poll don't want it to happen.
Yeah,
loads of protests, and it's like none of it's been about. Feels like it's been going on for ages, and no sport's been. Isn't tomorrow it starts, but there's been no sport. You forget it's about sport. It just feels like there's an event that is trying to happen. I don't know.
Yeah, it does feel forced. But the point I'm making about the Winter Olympics in China is that everything that's happening with China at the moment, I don't think there's any way that a single country is going to go, we're not going to go to it, or we're going to withdraw because of the treatment of minorities in that country. Kodak made an apology this week in I think it was in one of their brochures. I might be slightly wrong on this. They used a photographer who had either said or taken photographs critical of China.
Oh, right.
And Kodak offered an apology to China for employing this person because he'd once said China's a bit dodgy.
Right.
And they made and basically went, we're really sorry, China, we won't do it again.
Right.
And I just thought, wasn't it 2 years ago we were totally petrified by China?
Yeah.
And that thing I put on my Insta story on my dodgy account.
Your dodgy account.
They rule the world. They've taken over the world.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. We're all worried about it. The rise of their economy and everything else.
But we're not worried about it because it comes on our doorstep by 10 o'clock from Amazon.
They've played an absolute blinder on us, haven't they?
Yeah.
The rest of the world.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a virus.
Well, we're not scared. We were scared of them before. Tiananmen Square and everything else. It was like, we'll do anything we can. They're the dark forces. And now we welcome them. It's an amazing turnaround. They've taken control of the world, basically.
Yeah.
And if people think they haven't, then you're misguided. If you just look at trade deals, if you look at the power in this world, China is the superpower.
But back to the UK, you put some words on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Is that how you're trying to sell your account by calling it dodgy?
Yeah, I'm not the best at marketing. I'm not going to tell you the name of it.
You put some words on Instagram, which I don't often screenshot, certainly your stuff.
Okay. It didn't need that caveat.
No, because you I enjoy it, and I kind of, I reflect on it, and I kind of, but this I felt compelled. I don't screenshot anything, Mark. No. So it's a massive compliment now.
I'm down to 5,000. So.
Are you? I now have 5, and yours being one of them. So these are the words you wrote. Going back to the vaccines, you start to bob around lots of different news outlets and stuff. You see all this stuff happening, and it all pretty much comes down to it's all pandemic related.
Yeah, maybe not nice link, but there's a heightened awareness of everything because of the pandemic. They're not linked to the disease per se, but they're linked to the pervading feeling. But
it feels like just at the moment amongst this these are the kind of things that are cropping up now.
Yeah.
It's almost every event as someone's going, having a little poke. Anyway, you put up, if the vaccines work, why do you need a vaccine passport? You're protected, so other people's decisions don't affect you. Bravo. If the vaccines do not work, a vaccine passport is meaningless because anyone could be spreading the virus, even the vaccinated. I know you wrote this, but this all seems very commonsensical to me. Mm-hmm. What added value would a passport bring? What does it prove other than dog-like obedience? Since these vaccines do not stop infection or transmission, this is my favourite bit, a vaccinated infected person would be allowed to move freely and an unvaccinated healthy person would not. That kind of really hammered home when I read that, and I thought it was a really good way of putting it. Essentially, people who look after themselves have the brain power to make their own decisions and understand things, basically having their freedoms taken away from them.
I went a little bit...
Which is actually extraordinary when you kind of say it out loud. That's an extraordinary thing.
I think it is, but you have to look at the wider context. You can be the sheep. Yeah. I'm not saying that, I'm not kind of having a go at anyone who's had the vaccine, by the way. But you can follow the rules. Yes.
Have a careless abandon about your health and not give anyone any kind of space or be respectful of their space or your own hygiene or anybody else's, and have the freedoms. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but this
because of this double vaccine.
And I'm not per se. I'm not anti-vax. I'm anti-vax for me because I've made an informed decision. We had this a couple of pods ago. I totally get, and I actually reckon our numbers might have gone down by people going, I don't like what he said. I think that's possible.
Okay.
The argument I think people would put forward is, but you're being selfish because your duty isn't just to look after yourself.
I understand that argument, but
in my case,
it very quickly runs out, doesn't it? I like the idea we're all in this together. We've got to play our part from a community and societal point of view. I get that.
Yeah.
But it runs out of steam pretty quick, doesn't it?
But I was thinking earlier this week, I did some work and there was somebody in the context of my work who was present, who was a little bit older than me, was convicted paedophile, massively obese. I don't know if he smokes and drinks. It's a definite, because of the work I've been doing, that his hygiene is not. Mm-hmm. This is taking the point that you've said to the extreme. Mm-hmm. This convicted paedophile who is obese.
I guess that is relevant in terms of the way he lives his life.
It's in terms of risk, because what I'm saying is...
a risk to other people, right?
What I'm saying is the pure... If you just view risk as COVID and nothing else... Mm-hmm. I had a discussion with someone today, and they were saying, basically, I think you should get vaccinated. Mm. And I said, I made the point of why, and they said it's about saving lives. And I said, then we shouldn't have cigarettes and we shouldn't have alcohol. Mm-hmm. If it's about saving lives, ban those today. Yeah. That would be no more taking away people's rights than not allowing me to go anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cigarettes kill you, obesity kills you, alcohol kills you. Ban it all.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it isn't. COVID is becoming the predeterminant. It's like, this is the only thing that matters. It's the only show in town. Yeah. So you can be far bigger risks of other stuff, but you're not perceived as a risk because risk is just measured in a very linear way. It's either COVID or not. Yeah. But the point I'm saying is this fella can get on a plane and go to Thailand or go wherever he wants in the world, and I would guess
and not be a perceived risk to anybody.
Yes, and I would say that...
Or himself.
His risk because of his lifestyle and because of his lack of hygiene and his lack of ability to eat well is at risk.
Yeah. And it's not an exaggeration to go, well, I'm a law-abiding person who looks after himself and understands risk and kind of... It is crazy, isn't it?
Because so many things are going to be shut. You're actually going to get to a position and go... Risk is just going to be valued on one element,
because it's
not
about
looking
you.
At the whole.
Just to clarify, it's about you and preventing you from being seriously ill, and that is entirely your choice.
Yes,
it doesn't make any sense, does it? Well, it doesn't make any sense. I don't need to be a scientist or a politician to kind of know and feel that is ridiculous.
It doesn't make sense for one simple reason. If it is sensical, you do it at 5 o'clock today. If you're doing it at the end of September, you're basically going...
But that's another
here's
dimension,
the window
though,
of opportunity.
It's still as bloody stupid then as it is now. That's another level of...
But if their argument is
based on time...
Yeah, France have done it, rightly or wrongly, France have gone, right, as from now, bang, this is the law.
Right.
Yeah. And although I disagree, obviously, with everything, the jail sentences for going, possible jail sentences for going into a restaurant if you're not double jabbed. Mm-hmm. But for us to go, this is really serious, this is the only way we're going to do it, this is how we're going to change our society, but it's going to be the end of September. How does that work? So does my risk, this terrible risk that I'm going to spread it, not work until the end of September? Yeah. If it's that serious, do it now.
We mentioned it this week that there is a palpable sense of unease. Yes. Like people I talk to at work, talk about you, and you talk people you talk to. I think it's really hard to explain it. I think everyone's just not necessarily confused. I think it's less confusing. I think it's just out and out beyond words.
So
isn't it?
If we look at my scoop,
it is so out there. Let's get on. We can get on to that.
The reason my scoop, and I know, and I'm not being an apologist for myself, but I recognise giving myself the label of ridiculous has a degree of truth. I recognise that my obsessive nature and my view of life may, to neurotypical people, seem distorted. And I'm not here going that I'm the panacea for everything in the world. It's just, I think sometimes there are some good ideas and they get ignored, or because of who tells them. This was a simple one today. I saw a packet with 7 bananas in, and probably have this to put up on the Insta. And they ranged from green to quite well done. And this is from a South Korean supermarket. So when you buy 7, that one's ready today, that one's ready tomorrow. That is sensible. We buy 7 bananas, and if you have one a day, the last 3 go in the bin. And it was sensible. I looked at that and went, why have I or no one else ever... So the point I'm trying to make from this is there are some very sensible things to do, and we're not doing them. Yeah. And these bananas made sense rather than buying a bunch. I'm guessing I'm doing a caveat for the story I'm about to tell to say I accept people can pick holes in what I'm saying, but I just feel, I don't think always that my passion is misplaced. I think sometimes there are some degrees of truth in my ridiculousness. And so that's why I want to just tell this little story. Okay. So let me get my phone. So last night, I think I'd done a session or I'd done some training or something. I can't even remember what it was. And something came up on Twitter. I wasn't even deep diving. And something came up on Twitter of a young man in his 20s describing the horrific nature of COVID and the effect it had had on him. And he gave a very, very well presented view of the horrors of the disease, the need to get vaccinated, how he'd been misguided and didn't think, thought he was invincible, how all his friends had got it. And he was being interviewed in his hospital bed. And one of the things that you and I have often said is that they quite often interview them when they look as if they probably have got 4 or 5 minutes to live. Yeah, it's like
they can't talk.
They can't talk. They've got the gas and air. And what suddenly came across was that the guy didn't have a mask on. And they cut away to show another person in a room, and then you could tell where the camera was. So there was at least 2 other people in his private room, and he didn't have a mask. And I just thought, this guy has said he almost died from COVID. He's still in hospital. He's obviously in a private ward, and he had like some machines next to him and everything. And he isn't wearing a mask. And that, you get nasty looks in Sainsbury's still. Yeah. And I thought, someone has slipped up. That you could not, it just couldn't be allowed. That you've got at least 2 people, possibly 3 people in a small room with him, and someone hasn't said you need to wear a mask because you have COVID. It's beyond common sense, isn't it? Yeah. The hospital would have said you need to wear a mask. Also, I didn't think people that were so close to death necessarily would have a film crew and be interviewed. Yes. So I just thought, this is strange. This is the first time I've seen someone who's basically going, I'm almost died, I've got COVID, but chat away. Yeah. So that was number 1. So I then decided to have a look at the background to this individual. So I'm just going to show you the picture. Now, this to me reminds me of a young Kenny Everett. So this is the guy that's just about dying from COVID.
Oh, right.
So if you want to describe...
I saw a guy on... There's one on the BBC website now saying, I refused the vaccine, then nearly died from the virus. I thought it was him, but it's not. It's a different one.
There's another one.
He looks pretty well. I mean,
the word for that is chipper.
Yeah.
That guy is chipper.
Where was this?
It was at a London hospital.
But where was this broadcast?
This was broadcast at 8:16 on BBC Breakfast News.
Okay.
And he spoke to Hugh Pym from his hospital bed after getting seriously ill with coronavirus. He describes feeling like he was dying, and his advice to others is to get the COVID vaccine. He said, I was wondering when my last breath was going to be. And this has happened quite often, that we've heard basically people have actually thought they were about to die.
But
go on.
They use this language that just feels slightly unrealistic. I know a few people have been close to death, and they very rarely use the cliched, life flashed before my very eyes. And when people are literally on the edge of something catastrophic, they tend not to say things like that.
No.
If they, you know what I mean?
And not in a chipper smiling voice.
No.
So anyway, NHS England used a quote that he said. His quote was, get the vaccine, just honestly get the vaccine. Right. And NHS England reposted the picture that I've just sent.
Yes.
And then this was answered by Shadi Javid, who said, get the vaccine, just honestly get the vaccine, get well soon, Henry. For the health minister to make a personal response to one of, what is it, 55,000 people had COVID, and this one particular guy was on the news, and the health secretary made a personal tweet, retweeting in the same way that the NHS England had retweeted these words that were used on BBC Breakfast. I thought, do this from a objective point of view. So I want to make this very clear. Although the guy looked very, very healthy, when I took a screenshot, he had a number of things around him. He had a computer next to his bed, he had a water bottle, he had a banana, he had some blueberries. He obviously was eating and able to use a computer. He wasn't on gas and air or anything else, but he still wasn't wearing a mask. And I thought, why is this getting the publicity that it is? I went onto Twitter and I couldn't find anything. And I thought, this is really strange. It's like normally someone's got a view or knows him or something. So I went on to DuckDuckGo because there was nothing on Google.
The search engine.
Yeah. And DuckDuckGo, all I did was put this guy's name in.
Yeah.
And DuckDuckGo said, I think I did a screenshot of it, Henry G. Dyne, D-Y-N-E.
I think I've got his LinkedIn profile.
Sorry?
I've got his LinkedIn profile.
Yes. So just to let you go, so people that don't know, is DuckDuckGo is a search engine that is a bit like trying to not be Google.
Yeah.
So I put this guy's name in, just casually, and DuckDuckGo came up and said, Google is trying to track you. We've blocked them.
Block Google?
Yeah.
From trying to
track me.
Right.
You can check the address bar to see who is trying to track you when you visit a new site.
Mm.
As soon as I went into DuckDuckGo, Google had got some link to the fact that I was checking on this guy.
Right.
So if you've got his LinkedIn profile there, rather than me, because I've got it here as well,
Yeah.
does it say on that he's a key account manager at Computer Centre?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Is the picture... God, this is like a bloody courtroom. Is the picture of him the picture of the guy in the bed? Probably, for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, it looks like him.
It's the same person.
Looks like him, yeah.
So...
Where were you on the night?
Yes. Henry Dyne works for Computer Centre.
Yeah.
Computer Centre was founded by Sir Philip Hume, H-U-L-M-E.
Mm.
He has donated hundreds of thousands of pounds to the Conservative Party in recent years, and his wife also donated £100,000 as recently as the 2019 election.
Okay, yeah.
And they were also paying a particular MP money towards his whatever.
Yeah.
And they got an uncontested tender. So this organisation got an uncontested tender to supply laptops to schools.
Right.
And it was basically saying we can't discriminate against children that don't have access at home to laptops. And it's even gone wider than that now, which I'll tell you in a minute, which is about accessing things like appointments and getting onto your vaccines, that people need that. So they were given an uncontested tender to provide these. It's transpired that some of the laptops that they supplied didn't meet the minimum standards. And a school in Bradford, which received 90 of these laptops via Computer Centre, found they were infected with a malware virus. On unboxing and preparing them, it was discovered that a number of laptops were infected with a self-propagating network worm, and then he names it. The network worm looks like it contacts Russian servers when active. So Computer Centre sent out thousands of laptops, and I think it's something like 22,000 of them had malware
Already on them. Right.
That was linked to Russian spyware. An online forum used by school IT experts suggests this is far from an isolated incident. Numerous schools have reported the virus to the Department of Education. Reports also suggest that laptops arrived with no sound driver installed, causing issues for pupils. And this was one of the Good Law projects that said it appears that the price they've charged for some of their devices is almost twice as what they could have been if you bought them on Amazon, blah, 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 blah. This made me think, it's interesting that the guy who is in hospital works for this company, but that could just be coincidence.
Yeah.
I then found an Instagram account in this guy's name where he is described as a crisis actor.
Right.
Now, this is the only one bit where I'm going to put my hand up and go, because it was a private account, I can't get into. But this guy has 2 Instagram accounts.
Yeah.
You see it?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
And what does it say on it?
One says, so one times Academy Award nominated crisis actor, Henry Dyne.
Yeah.
Suspiciously woke, best actor on TV, propaganda king.
So
Is his
that's his own words to describe himself.
Yeah.
Now, that could be mightily ironic.
Yeah.
But he also has another account.
Oh, sorry.
His acting account has got quite a few, 1,000-odd followers.
So his acting one's got 1,200 followers.
And he calls himself a crisis actor.
Yeah, on that one. And on
head of propaganda and extremely woke.
Yeah, and the other one has 14 followers.
Yes.
And it's just food.
Yeah.
Healthy food, and him looking quite fit.
Yeah.
And buff. Someone who's very concerned about his health and well-being.
And he's showing the progress he's made in his health, although some of the dates on things he's published, there's one where he looks exceptionally buff on the 10th of May, and on the 20th of April he looked very different. So in 3 weeks he made massive changes, but not putting anything aside, he's obviously someone who's very into fitness. I can't believe that he prepared every one of those meals that are produced. They look very professional photographs.
Yeah, they
but
do, yeah.
If someone eats like that, then they've got to be the healthiest person alive.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the point, maybe. But why, for someone who obviously has thousands of followers?
But was the interview about, I'm super healthy, eat well, train, I still got it?
No.
So there's nothing about that.
No.
Nothing about his health. Okay, that wasn't even made a point about that.
But he's done 135 posts. He's a popular guy. He's obviously got a lot of friends. He's got a lot of people on LinkedIn. And
14 followers,
people.
that's nothing.
It was
I
30.
could get 14 if I set up a new account, I could get 14 in about
Just
10
spam.
minutes. Just yeah.
So why has he got that?
Yeah, right. I said, okay, yeah.
So, and you could go, well...
And nothing's tagged. Out of all those 135 posts,
barely any of them get any likes.
He's never been tagged. Yeah, you're right.
No.
Yeah.
So, what have I proved? Nothing.
Bravo, Mark. Is that the end?
But this guy, who has obviously become a mouthpiece for young people...
Oh, he's clearly an actor.
He is clearly an actor.
Yeah.
It's the third actor. On the last podcast, I told you of 2 people on ITV News from the same agency that were actors. Yeah. So of all the people in that hospital, they've chosen an actor. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen any plumbers or... That guy was interviewed, and it's a blatant propaganda. I think even the BBC would probably go, yes, it's blatant propaganda. Mm-hmm. We're trying to get across a message. Mm-hmm. And if the message is get vaccinated because it can happen to a fit and healthy guy like this, then fine. Mm-hmm. I've got no problem with that. Mm-hmm. But of all the people to choose, it chooses someone who is employed by one of the biggest donors to the Conservative Party. Mm. And to me, that's like stretching it a little bit. Like, what are the chances?
We haven't covered many of these things on the pod, but you tell me about a lot of them.
Yeah.
And all the things that you're like, okay. And when you have delved a little bit deeper, the amount of times there is a Tory donor involved, is pretty much 100%, isn't it?
Yes.
There's a handful of examples you've told me in the last few weeks where that's the case.
It's a disproportionate.
Yeah, you just kind of you don't have to dig very far to go, oh, okay. They're on a board of X, or they donated X in the last 12 months, or there's associations, isn't there, quite closely linked.
So my final bit about this is not so much about the massive coincidence that this guy just happens to work for someone who's a big donor and is an actor and gave a very good performance. It's that when I then looked at Computer Centre, so those contracts for the provision of school technology devices came to 99.4 million, following deals worth 96 million that were reported by Private Eye. Mm-hmm. Since that date, 2 new deals have been released, taking one worth 46 million, taking the total to 241.
Mm-hmm. NHS spends 8.5 million on laptops and phones for vaccination programme.
Yeah, that's the one. So next to Henry's LinkedIn entry is a screen grab they've put up here of exactly what you said. 8.5 million NHS vaccination phones, laptops, tablets and barcode printer contract. The contract covers the provision of non-clinical hardware devices to support the operation of COVID-19 vaccine centres. So the point I'm making is, to me, this is in plain sight. So a guy who works for Computer Centre, who are massive donors to the Conservative Party, who are getting contract after contract, none of which have been in open competition, have just been awarded a contract around £9 million to provide provision around vaccines. And one of their employees ends up being interviewed on the BBC. And it could be a massive coincidence, but it isn't. This guy is an actor. He works for Computer Centre. They've just won a big contract. And he goes, you've got to go out and have the vaccine. This is the in plain sight. And I think this is my worry for when I came in, is that no one's saying anything. None of the concerns. The Computer Centre don't have to get up. Henry Dine isn't being interviewed. And this is happening a million times over. And we're just believing everything we see. I'm not saying this guy didn't have COVID. He seems to have made a good recovery and he looks good, which is fine. I'm not even being facetious. But this is too close to home. It's just we're going to make a propaganda story. What should we do? And that's the other thing, that he's got an Instagram account with 14 followers. It had 13 followers yesterday. It's got 14 today.
Yeah.
But 203,000 people have seen that tweet.
Yeah.
Why would he keep posting pictures of food to 14 other people? It just strikes me as...
Fishy. Just want to cover something I didn't cover last week. We were talking about opposites, weren't we?
Opposite actions.
Yeah. And that kind of, when you were talking about that, it got me thinking about a book by Rory Sutherland. The name of the book is Alchemy, The Surprising Power of Ideas That Don't Make Sense. So it doesn't pay to be logical when everyone else is being logical. Sutherland says that if you play by the same rules as everybody else and become obsessed with comparison, you will use the same metrics as your competitors. Furthermore, when you optimize for the same parameters, you become more like your competitors and edge closer to commoditizing your product and service category. We talked about FOMO a lot, haven't we? The idea that you're comparing yourself to somebody else, but actually by obsessing over that, you're going to get closer to them, therefore not be any different and not kind of carve your own path.
Maybe a bit like the bananas. Everyone sells them in bunches.
Yeah.
And someone's gone, why do we do it like that?
Yeah. Sutherland refers to the book Blue Ocean Strategy, which says the point of differentiation is to develop better metrics than your competitors. In other words, if you abandon that need for comparison, it's an excellent way to find a comparative advantage. So Sutherland says that one of the things that made Apple different was that everybody else in tech was asking what a phone could do, from battery life process to power to available RAM and so forth. Apple chose to ask a different question, which was, how does the phone make you feel when you're using it? The considerations by other tech firms are objective. They're about SE units and things that are numerically measurable. Apple's was subjective. Sutherland argues that one of the ways of getting closer to customers as a marketer is simply to develop subjective, not objective metrics against which you judge yourself. Again, that's probably good for individuals.
We talked about the Apple box as well, didn't we? That becomes something you keep, although you have no need for it.
Yeah. So I'm going to go on to his 10 rules for alchemy, which I think are quite neat. So number 1, the opposite of a good idea can also be a good idea. We were talking about this yesterday in our business chat, weren't we? You called me last night. I can't see you. It's dark in here, isn't it?
Yeah, we had our discussion.
Yeah, and I was waltzing around the garden and got bitten by a mosquito, so I'm blaming that one on you. But we're talking about that.
Yeah.
It's like, well, why would you want to do something that's similar to somebody else? There's such a natural thing to I'm not going to do that. You know, kind of if you're an individual starting out as a freelancer or something, you go, well, loads of people are doing that. Why would I do it? I'm not going to be noticed. I'm just going to disappear in the competition. But if you obsess about, again, what they're doing, you're more likely to disappear. If you look inside yourself and don't look about what everybody else is doing and do the thing that you want to do in the way you want to do it. Yeah. You know, you've got to have some competency. But if you kind of have a belief in your own beliefs, then I think you can genuinely create that differentiation, I think. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I think I was thinking more about our discussion, and we were saying about how we value coffee.
Yeah.
And I was thinking you can have 5 coffee shops in a very small village. If you're the best coffee shop, the other 4 don't matter. Yeah. Because they're only going to get the people that either don't recognise good coffee or you're full.
Yeah.
So the competition, if you're the best, competition's unimportant in some respects.
But you could have 5 coffee shops that have fantastic coffee.
Yeah.
You know, indistinguishable in terms of quality. But there's other things you're going to win on. Yeah,
the way you sell it or your customer service.
Number 2 is don't design for average. Number 3, it doesn't pay to be logical if everyone else is being logical. Number 4, the nature of our attention affects the nature of our experience.
If we keep using the coffee shop, if I'm somewhere and I'm constantly engaging, whether it's with the staff or the music or the decor or the food, that just keeps me coming back for more.
Yeah. Number 5 is a flower is simply a weed with an advertising budget.
Yeah.
6, the problem with logic is that it kills off magic. You know the stuff that makes sense, but if you kind of follow things almost by the letter, you're going to miss so much, I guess, aren't you? Yeah. You're going to miss all kind of opportunities. Number 7, a good guess which stands up to observations is still science. So is a lucky accident. Sometimes you've got to use your gut instinct. When you use your gut instinct, it kind of works. You give all the numbers in the world, but it doesn't actually... Sometimes it's not what people want. It's not what's going to work.
Well, we've talked about gut instinct before. Sometimes you have an intuition about something's going to take off.
Yeah, I think this is kind of just said to go on that.
Yeah.
Even if the numbers say something different.
Yeah.
Because you're likely to have the same numbers as everybody else. Number 8 is test counterintuitive things only because no one else will. Number 9 is solving problems using rationality is like playing golf with only one club, for all the golfists out there. And number 10 is dare to be trivial.
Yeah, that resonates with me.
Maybe don't be too serious about things. I kind of take it as that. Sometimes that you know, you can see, well, don't sweat the small stuff, but maybe sweat the small stuff or the things that you don't think matter. Maybe they do matter. I've got to crack on, Mark. We're pushing on for time. I'm going to wrap through these life hacks for you because I know you love them. How to stay cool in this abominable heat. These are genuine ones, which I think are absolute crap, but they're on most of the sites that talk about these things. Stay out of the sun, right? Stand in a cool breeze. Well, that'd be easy if there was a cool breeze, right? Paint the house white. That was my favourite one.
The lack of irony, or are you being ironic?
What? I've typed in to the old interweb.
Yeah.
ways to keep cool in this heat, in this awful heat. And these are genuinely the things that come back out.
You see, that's where you need more information. If you're going to keep cool, paint your house white at night.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I haven't thought it through,
so you're not hot when you paint the house.
Yes.
And then the next day, the whole house will benefit from it. Then you get the benefit. And then there's the usual, which I think are valuable, like, probably fairly obvious, like having a shower.
Yeah.
And if you've got the fans on in your bedroom and you come out of the shower and you're a little bit damp, that's quite nice. Rinse your wrists. Heard of that one? Do you ever do that one? Just to cool yourself off.
No.
And obviously drink plenty of water and don't overdo the antiperspirant.
Okay.
Because your body needs, is trying to cool you down, isn't it, by sweating? It's physics. Second one, stick everything in the fridge. There's loads of stuff which is just putting things in the fridge. This is great advice, and it's easy for me because I rarely have any food in the fridge. So things like put moisturiser in there, so things you probably wouldn't normally put in there.
Wet wipes.
Things that you use. Oh, cool! A cool wet wipe.
Don't know why I'm entering into this.
Because you're interested. And then people put pillows, bed sheets.
Yeah.
It's gone up a notch. You might as well put your sofa in there. Actually, put your pets in there as well while you're at it.
You're going to have struggle in this heat. Not to.
Yeah. Actually, don't put your pets in the fridge.
No.
Because they don't like the dark. And here's the killer one. I've left this one till last because we tried it yesterday and it has worked. Open the loft hatch.
Okay.
Hot air rises, of course. And if you create some ventilation on the lower floors, that's if you have lower floors, you could be in a bungalow with a loft, admittedly, then it'll push the kind of cool air up and out. And because you've got vents in your roof, the hot air will disperse. I thought it was pretty good. And we tried it today. It's definitely made a difference upstairs. I can't see you, but I can kind of just make out just an aura of disappointment.
It's like I'm reading a very poor edition of Viz.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
No, this is the one thing that mystifies.
I thought we were losing listeners because of you. Is it because of me? Am I at life hacks? You have such an involvement and such
what, like almost a passion for them.
I have a passion for it, for you sitting there going, kill me now.
It's more. We've gone from the end of the Western civilization.
That's the fun I get.
To put water in
genuinely,
a fridge.
the loft hatch, a genius idea. I think it's great.
Yeah, I'll give you that one.
Thank you. That's it for this episode. We're not going to get this far. And thanks for listening to us. Give us a follow on Instagram. I'm Vinecast, and give us a review on Apple Podcasts. In the next episode, I thought we could do some on training, or kind of get back into some of that.
Yeah, let's
is there anything specific you'd like to cover? If I said let's do some on training, is there anything burning now that you'd want to do?
Let's just have. I read something the other day that was basically saying I'd rather do one exercise 10,000 times than 10,000 exercises once. No, that doesn't make sense.
I'd rather do one exercise 10,000 times.
Would you rather be attacked by a ram?
Yeah. One giant duck or 100 small ducks?
Would you rather be stuck on a Welsh mountain with... Yeah.
So, okay.
The quote was basically saying, don't get taken in by coaches that have 173 different ways to curl a dumbbell. There's about 4.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's the...
Yeah. You were talking about the last part about choice. There's too much choice.
Yes.
That doesn't make you a better PT. It doesn't make you a better anything.
No.
Back to coffee. Which blend would you? How many? What have you got? We've got 140 different blends.
Yeah.
Right. How's that helping me right now?
Too. Yeah. Yeah. I can remember when we did the PT course. I'm sure the guy said something like, basically there are 7 lifts in the world.
Right.
So you get push lifts, you get push, pull, and lifts. Mm-hmm. And it maybe that's it. It's a back to basics. Yeah, but within each one, let's just go back maybe
that'd be good.
to the basics of why you should do certain exercises. Mm-hmm. And I know I've used the should, but some people should, because exercises come in and out of fashion.
Mark?
Yes.
We did deadlifts today. I'm pointing at you. You can't see me.
No.
Well, maybe you can because I've got the screens on my face. But we did deadlifts this morning.
Yeah.
That was tough in the heat. Have I mentioned the heat?
Yeah.
And how hot it is?
Yeah.
I have
that's why I made you do the deadlifts in a fridge.
We had the bloody garage. I was in the sun. I was in the rec sun, the morning sun.
Yeah.
I was absolutely cooking.
Mm.
However, I feel so good. I think deadlifts have changed my life. Genuinely changed my life.
Mm. Good.
For the better.
Yeah.
So I don't worry about saying you should deadlift. I think everyone should deadlift. Honestly.
Yeah.
I think if you did one thing, talking about one thing 10,000 times, I'd do deadlifts.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. Okay. So it's getting back to basics.
Pull. Okay. Cool. We'll do that. So we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.